Hello everyone, piercenation here. Welcome to a new year video that we are doing. Today we're going to be talking about players in general and how they play from a local, regional, and YCS standard based on the attitude of the player, again, table presence, and other things like that, which is very important in the game. And you must be able to figure out what your opponent is doing. If they are cheating, if the plays are legit, if they have good attitudes, that whole deal. An easy way to know if your opponent is as genuine as they are is if you both sit down, both in smiles, both just happy to be there. That's normally a good genuine player. You can watch their plays. Typically, in Yu-Gi-Oh, there's a lot of misplays that do occur. They are very fluent. They're very noticeable. Normally you can point them out, but there are some times where let's say a new deck comes out, you don't really know that deck, like Sword Soul. Like I don't really know Sword Soul all that well, but I do get the premise and I know how the effects work. Just like Shadalls, I know how the effects work. So I've learned these decks over time. So if someone tries to, bullshit me on my effects or on an effect that they do, let's say they banish Alistair, they get Invocation, then they use Invocation, and somehow Alistair comes back on the field from banishment. Nah, I'm gonna be able to see through that all day long because you have to normal summon Alistair, so I'll be waiting for that all day long. Also with the other effects, some other effects don't even let them special summon anymore that turn. So again, you really have to know your what you're playing and notice if your opponent is being genuine or not. You can say, well, how do I know if they're being genuine? Genuine, you're not just playing cards, you normally are having a conversation. It's not really like playing cards. Like, sometimes you'll sit down and it's stay quiet, you sit down, like, I'm gonna play this. Okay, I'm gonna activate this in response. There you go. Throw it to the graveyard. And they said, alright, I passed my turn. That's just normal playing. That ain't no big deal. Now, if you're sitting having a conversation and laughing, be like, alright, I'm gonna lay this down. He's like, ooh, I've got to play for that. Hang on. I'm going to ask that. I'm like, alright, yeah, sure. We'll ask that. I'll pay the cost. He's just like, alright. It's like, anything else? No? Pass turn. That's a genuine conversation. You can have a conversation that way. Yesterday, I was having a lot of fun playing locals. Blue Eyes went 2-2. Again, you're not going to get, guaranteed wins with this deck as of yet. My Blue Eyes deck is very, very good. I think it is one of the best Blue Eyes decks that has been put together so far. I haven't run into any other variation, not even Samurai X1s. Blue Eyes foundation of it. That's just the best version of it I could find. And with the cards the way they are, they pop off like crazy. So, like I said, I'm always up for new Blue Eyes cards, new Blue Eyes support. I'm actually, right now, I'm upgrading from an EDO to YG, or YDO, I think it's what's called, YDO Pro. But basically, it's supposed to have a new Blue Eyes card in that version of the game. Because apparently, YDO is the main focus of the Yu-Gi-Oh games that are out for free download on PC, Android, iOS, whatever. And what they do, or what the main card does, it's basically like if your opponent activates an effect, you get this card special summon, and it can negate or it can get in a monster effect on the field or some shit like that. It's crazy. Never heard of this card. I'm actually going to throw it in Blue Eyes, so I gotta try to think of how I'm gonna put that in there. It's kind of weird, but again, there are some good things you can do with Blue Eyes. And all these other decks, but also you have to look forward and you have to see the real picture. You can make your deck as good as you want, but if you cannot tell what your opponent is doing, when they're doing it, how they're doing it, and the reason for it, or even the responses, you can build the best deck and you're still going to lose. Because in this game, there are thieves. I watch my deck everywhere I go. I buy the most secure boxes to put my decks in because you have to find out how to get that box open without me noticing and take my deck. Because I spend hundreds of thousands of dollars into those 2 decks I have. Even the Dark Magician one. That one's somewhere around 100, 150. It's not that much. Again, I haven't dropped really any big change into Dark Magicians. But even if somebody took that deck, I'd still be pissed. I wouldn't be that bad, but I'd just be pissed that you took it. But again, you have to know there are thieves in this game. There are liars. There are cheaters. It's Yu-Gi-Oh! This is how it is. Now, not every player you come up against is going to be a liar, a thief, and a cheater. Don't even think that. As I played a lot of really good players. When you sit down and really good players really have it out and they get beat, and I mean beat, they don't take it with a grain of salt. They're very genuine. They're very nice. I've probably said this once, but if I haven't, I'm gonna go ahead and iterate this. When I played in regionals and YCS, and even locals, I had a kid say this to me actually yesterday. I've never heard anybody say GG. Have I heard it? Of course I've heard it. It means good game in a typical sort of sense. But as soon as you beat somebody and you say GG and you throw your hand out, like, I'm gonna give you the reiteration. Let's say you're trying to win and you're doing really good, and you think everything going your way, and I throw down a bunch of cards and I'm like, oh, I beat you, GG. Are you gonna shake that person's hand? That's what I'm telling you. Like, I got that yesterday, and I looked at him and I said, I hope you don't play any more good events. I was like, because you can't play regionals or YCS like that. You do that at either of those tables, and you have that attitude, that judge is more than likely to throw you out. I'm not joking. Like, that's just something that they don't do. When I get beat, like, and don't take it with a grain of salt. If I get beat, I'm like, yeah, man, that's pretty good. I like that. That's a good deck. But like, sometimes I get a little unlucky, and the next card's the one I need. But that's the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! That's how it is. It's a game of luck. Now you say, well, that's not really a game of luck because you can get consistency, you can get good pulls. Sure you can. It's a draw game. You have 40 cards in a deck. You're not guaranteed. It's a game of luck. And if you're just lucky enough, you know how to pop out the effects correctly. Like the guy I went down and played at the card shop, even though I lost against him 2-0, Blue Eyes versus Cyber Dragons. It's a really good Cyber Dragon deck. I liked it. It's one of my favorites I've ever played. Never seen one built like that. It really got me. Because literally the game before, I faced Cyber Dragons. Before then, it was running Cyber Dark, Cyber Ends, the whole deal. And I beat him 2-0. Came straight at him, was like, I'm just going to hit this guy. Won't think nothing of it. And even with him, I was having trouble because he knew what to do. Because even he, like me, was a regional, I think he might have been a YCS or Worlds player, I think. I told him, I said, that's pretty good. I said, man, I'm actually pretty good. I'm surprised your deck actually held up on its own. Because, I'm trying to take Blue Eyes in January and play YCS remotely. If I can get it set up here and have enough, capability where I can, at least record my plays, I'm going to do that. But, yeah, no, I'm not guaranteed. So don't hold me on that. I'm going to try. If I can get it set up everything correctly, and everything's still going my way, I'm going to try to do that. But again, don't hold me to that. But more specifically, so that was a really good Cyber Dragon deck. Really good. Like, really good put together. I beat it. Go and face the next guy. Get 2-0'd to Cyber Dragons. He's running Forbidden Droplet. I let Forbidden Droplet go when I had Harbinger on. I misplayed. That happens. I normal summoned the Sage. I added the Master. Instead of Link Kuriboh and the Sage, normal summoned the Master because I had Marcelina White on, sending Blue Eyes. You know, popping off that combo like I was showing everybody last time. I misplayed it. That was my bad. I lost. Hands down, he beat me, okay? It should have been, that should have been like 1-1 right there, and we should have clashed in the middle, but it is what it is. I lost. Take it for what it is. Move on about your day. The other deck I lost to was Shadow's. Okay. Shadow's are not really that good. I just got, you know, two, not brick hands, but just hands that you really can't do anything with. Plus, when they're pulling Invocation and using it twice a turn, getting 2 Macabres or Window out, which I don't really like Window all that well. And Blue Eyes can destroy Window pretty quickly. I just didn't get the card I needed, so that is what it is. But again, like I said, I lost. Whatever. Go about your day. Who cares? You lost. It's fine. Like yesterday, game 1, I got Blue Eyes Ultimate out and I got Shining out in the same turn. Game 1. That's what I'm saying. Like, the deck pops off. I want it to pop off even more. I'm going to keep working on it to make sure that it does pop off. But again, you can't stop the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! From happening. You're going to lose. You are going to lose. I don't care who you are. You want a Blue Eyes deck that goes 8-0, it's not going to happen. You want a Dark Magician deck that's going to go 8-0, it's not going to happen. You want a Drytron deck that's going to go 8-0, not going to happen. That's why I post my actual standings online. I tell you guys about every time I play what my record is, because, you know, if you want to use these decks, I'm constantly updating you, letting you know, hey, you know, I've won these many games, I've won that many games. Going 2-2, it's not the worst thing in the world because there was a lot of good players there. And the same guy that was running Cyber Dragons then showed me that he's trying to get sponsored, so that they're trying to get a team sponsored, wanted me to be on it, you know, to go to Worlds and YCS, which I'm behind because, you know, I go YCS on my own. Just because I'm really good at playing. But, you know, he showed me his Skull Servant deck. He's just like, well, I've thought about this for Cyber Dragon. Showed me Skull Servant. Skull Servant was crazy. Can Blue Eyes beat it? Yeah, it can. But again, where Skull Servants is basically, I think in the second turn he had like 30 cards in his graveyard. And he had 3 King of Skull Servants on with 9,000 attack. That's pretty massive. And that's now. But again, you know, that guy was a great player. He is a great player. I like playing him. I had a lot of fun playing him. Even though I lost, it was fun. Like, that's where I'm at with this. And then I showed him Drytron, and I showed him what I can get off in one turn with that. And he was very impressed. Because he's seen Drytron, but he's never seen, you know, the actual Drytron version of it. He's seen like what people put together, but he's not seen my variation. And I'm like, well, this way you keep your fairies on and your machine monsters, so they're all specific light archetypes. That way you can keep popping off effects and keep going. The only thing that sucks about that is, like, with Drytron, if somebody puts Ice Dragon Prison down or some other thing like that, they can change to where you can only special summon certain monsters. But beyond that, again, really good. Now, what I'm going to talk about here is probably what you guys clicked on video for, which is cheating. What is considered cheating in Yu-Gi-Oh? There are many things. the same guy that we had the problem with, which would be the Shadal player. I said, I'm honest, I'm genuine, I'm right out in front. I caught him multiple times cheating. Multiple. I watched him, I did not see him cheat. If he did, I didn't catch it. Like again, I said I took my L. I'll take my L. No big deal. No big deal. But they have caught him cheating before. Twice actually. I was there for one of them. And then I came in with Drytrons the second time. I cleaned house because I was like, yeah, I'm not a big fan of what you do. So I used Drytrons to clean house. But this guy, he cheats multiple times, and he actually tried to argue my ruling on Mausolina White. With the card, it specifically states you can target one card. You don't have to. You can Foolish Burial your Blue Eyes or Dragon Spirit of White from your deck to your graveyard. You don't have to target a monster. It's a can. So, like, if you have a card, you can target that card. You don't have to target that card. There's a big difference there. If it was a have to, then, you know, it would say on the card, target one card. Well, it doesn't say target one card. It says you can, which means that you don't have to target a card. You can just send it from deck to grave. There's your cost. There's your cost. You get nothing. You don't have to get anything out of it. So he argued that ruling. And then in another game, he argued Dragoon's ruling because somebody used Monster Reborn to Monster Reborn Dragoon from somebody else's graveyard, and he's just like, well, that can't work because he targets Dragoon and Dragoon can't be targeted. And I'm like, when Dragoon hits the graveyard, his effects are null and void. He has no effects. You don't have a graveyard effect. So, like, there's nothing that keeps him on, keeps him off, banishes him, anything. Like, his effects are on field. If he is off field in the graveyard, his effects are null and void. Like, nothing. If they want a Monster Reborn Dragoon, here you go. You don't have to summon him a specific way. If you Foolish Burial Dragoon, you have Monster Reborn in your hand. Use Monster Reborn, bring back Dragoon. There you go. He's wide open. Like, you can't get around him. Like, that's just where I'm at with it. Like, dude, you're arguing over dumb rulings. Like, study the game a little bit. Play other decks. Learn other decks. Learn how people use these cards. Because Shadals are not the best deck. There is no best deck. Now you can say, oh yeah, Sword Sylphs, they're top meta. Drytron was too, and still is considered top meta. Like, not even Drytron is going to stay top meta. They constantly bring out new support every so months. And then those decks that you're like, oh, this is the deck to get, null and void because this new one is going to be better than the last one. That's why I go over these cards every single day. You're talking about like, oh, this deck's going to be broken. That way you can go ahead and get the head start. And get the head start before you're like, oh, I want to drop into Phoenix Enforcer. To go ahead and let you know that if somehow you confuse Dark Monsters, you don't want to run Phoenix Enforcer because Fusion Destiny is getting banned in the OCG, and that will be probably the TCG too, I bet. So it's not really, I try to get the head start so you guys have, you're like, I want to build this archetype, these cards are coming out, this deck's gonna be great, let's go for it. That's great. That's why I'm here. I'm here to enlighten you guys on my playing experiences through everything I do, let you guys know what cards are good, what cards are bad, what you should probably build, what you should stay away from. You know, that's my job as a content creator on YouTube, and especially as a Yu-Gi tuber, as we like to be called. You know, there's certain things that we try to do to make sure that the people that, you know, they like, they comment, they subscribe to our channels, they have true information. It's not falsified. We try. Now, even me and other YouTubers you see, like Samurai X1 or even Jesse Cotton, for instance, is not going to know every single ruling of every single card. There are too many cards. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a confusing game. The rulings are very confusing. So you have to currently try to interpret it the best you can. Now, we had an instance to where yesterday I had to come over and I had to talk and kind of help out. You know, I'm playing too, so once my game was over, I was like, I ain't helping anybody. If there's a ruling, I'll step in, give my best knowledge, because I'm one of the most knowledgeable Yu-Gi-Oh players there. And again, we've got two other guys are from World YCS, so they know rulings pretty well. So I was like, okay, I'll go over, see what's going on, because there's a ruling difference coming out. Sometimes those ruling differences turn into an argument. So I was trying to come in, because normally if you have someone come in on the side and they're like, well, what's going on, and then they explain it, and then I'm like, okay, well, that effect goes off. That one is null and void for now, but when this card comes out, this can activate. That's what happened yesterday. I'm trying to remember what happened. I think they forbidden dropleted like a dragon roid, and somehow it popped a fusion monster on, and they were trying to super poly the fusion monster, but it couldn't activate because forbidden droplet was already there, and according to super poly, you can't activate cards in response. Well, forbidden droplet was already activated. This card was brought out. He activates super poly on the fusion monster. The effect of that fusion monster would still go off. Super poly would then activate, and then it would use that monster as material, and then it would go off that way. That's what I had to try to explain to them. I was like, well, looky here. There's certain things that have to go off here. There's certain things that happen, and let me explain it fully detail. That's what you have to do. You have to try to, if you're going to do that. Now, don't be a backseat dueler. Do not. Because when I was first getting into Yu-Gi-Oh, and there would be some guy literally sitting over top of somebody's shoulder watching them, and you know what that made me want to do when I ran Drytron? Because I used to just run Drytron. It used to be nothing else. I didn't run anything else. I didn't run Blue Eyes because I felt like I was like, well, Blue Eyes, it ain't that good. You know, I've tried to build it to the current meta, blah blah blah. And then I started researching cards, found out I can make it even better, which I have. You guys see my deck profile. You know how good it is. I need some pop. My throat's getting dry. But you know, at the time I was just running Drytron, and Drytron pops off very well. You know, I typically go 4-0, 3-1. Very rarely do I go 2-2. I've never went 1-3 with it, never, because it's now. It's getting those effect monsters out. If you can't set a back row, you ain't gonna be able to do anything. Even if you throw down Forbidden Droplet, you could still activate Queritus effect and just destroy the damn thing before the activation actually goes off. So it's very, very, very good that way. Or if you had Dragnus on, you can use his effect, banish two of your Drytron monsters, and just pop that card. You can banish one of them and just pop Forbidden Droplet. However you're gonna do that. But again, you still have the ability to do this stuff. You're not guaranteed that you're gonna be able to do this every turn. I'm just saying, the majority of how you need to go about things is sort of like this. So, you know, when people are backseat duelers, and I notice it. The question is, what's a backseat dueler? They try to critique everything you or your opponent does. So they'll sit over your shoulder and they'll be like, oh, you misplayed right there. You could have had him there. Who cares? Like, seriously, who gives a shit? I don't care if I misplay or not. I don't care if my buddy is sitting right next to me and he misplayed. I just look over and I'm like, well, you missed an opportunity there. I said, but you still have a play, so go ahead and make your play. You got it. You know, and I step out. I don't get in it. Because in Yu-Gi-Oh!, depending where you go, that could be considered cheating. It can, very well. Because you're literally telling your opponent, their opponent, that they misplayed and they ain't got nothing in their hand. Be like, oh man, you botched that, didn't you? Damn, that sucks. You know how bad that pisses me off? Like, don't do that. Do not be backseat dueler. It's not going to get you anywhere. It's not going to fix anything. It's not going to do anything. So basically, what I'm getting at is, you know, backseat dueling, don't do it. Just don't do it. Because if you face me at a wife, excuse me, if you get a chance to face me at a YCS regional event, and your buddy's being a backseat dueler or you're being a backseat dueler, I'm just gonna literally look at you the whole time and try to kill my opponent as fast as I can. Because I just don't want anywhere near the situation, because literally it's no use to me. I have no reason for it. I will literally try to kill my opponent as fast as I can just so I can get out of the situation. If I lose doing that, I won't care, because I'm like, you know what? Either I was gonna win or I was gonna lose anyway. So, you know, just don't do it. I don't really like it. I'm sure not a lot of players in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like it, because there's a lot of people that cheat. There's a lot of them like, oh, you can recycle this, and then you can reset this, and then you can slide that one back in your hand. No. That's called cheating. Legitimately, that is called cheating. I've seen it done before. Somebody dig through the graveyard, they'll drop a card down. Watch this in YCS. That's where one of my wins came from. I'd beat him anyway. Again, I was running Drytron. I was running a loaded board. Had Utopic, had Lady Beatrice. I had both Aquarius, Dragoness, and then I had oh shit, what's his name? Zeus. I had Zeus sitting right on the end. And I was just like, I literally watched him drop that card down, and I was like, I didn't say anything, because, you know, pretty laid back. He had done it once before, and I let it slide. Because, like I told you, I let the first one slide. I'm like, you do it once, it's not a big deal. Maybe it was an accident. Maybe he didn't notice, you know, no big deal. And I watched him drop one down, and it was face down. And then he goes like this, picks up his cards. Oh, here we go. And lays down like, I think it was dogmatical punishment or some shit like that. Well, it wasn't dogmatic punishment. It was like the dogmatic spell. It lets you special summon dogmatic a card. And then if you do, and you special summon a certain card, you can pop another card in your opponent's field. That's great and all. But I was like, that card wasn't in your hand. And he's like, no, it was there. I said, no, I seen you drop it down. I was like, I ain't stupid. You know, I'm not one that'll usually like try to get in altercations, but in Yu-Gi-Oh, sometimes if you know for a fact that you are right, call it out. Because he dropped that card down. The judge didn't really notice it, but I did. And he said, how many cards did he have in hand? I said, he had 3 in hand, and he went through his graveyard and dropped one down. I said, I seen you do it once before, and he just did it just now. And he's like, really? And then, you know, he starts going through the cards. He starts going through the graveyard. He's like, that card was in the graveyard. How did you get that back to hand? Going over it, and he's like, you're disqualified. He said, that's cheating. Instantly. So again, don't cheat. If you want to play Yu-Gi-Oh legitly, play it legitly. If you're gonna cheat, go home. There's no point. Why would you want to play a game of Yu-Gi-Oh if you're just gonna cheat because you can't win? There's no point. There's no point in lying to me, yourself, or your friends being like, oh yeah, my deck's crazy, dude. Look what he can do. And the whole time you're just cheating your cards to get along. Because he knew he was beat. He knew that that one card was going to be the only thing that was going to save him in this game. And I knew it for a fact. As soon as he done that, I was like, no. I seen him drop it down. He done it the game before too. And he lost that game too. Because, again, those ritual summon monsters do big damage. Especially when I keep recycling Ida-10, ritual summoning her, and freaking keep sending her to the grave. Which is, it'll keep powering up those big Drytron monsters, so about any attack you get, you ain't gonna be shooting over them anytime soon. So again, you have those to contest with. But not only that, but he's literally like trying everything he can in order to win because he just can't. See, that's a big thing. Like, don't cheat in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's no fun for you, it's no fun for your opponent, it's no fun for anyone else there, and it's definitely not fun for the judge. The judge does not want to disqualify you. If he has to disqualify you, you have went above and beyond to do that. Because more than likely, I guarantee it, that judge seen it and didn't say anything. He probably did what I did on the first one, and he may have seen the second one. I don't know if he did or not. He wasn't real specific on that. But he did say that that card was in the graveyard. There's no way you got it back to hand. That's where he got him. He's like, no. He said, I remember that card was in the graveyard. So, I mean, that's the thing. Like, you think these judges aren't paying attention? Yes, they are. There's one on my side, and there's one on my opponent's side. At least in YCS. Now, in regionals, you might have one judge. Or he might not even be at the table at all. But for every regional event I went to, every PPG event I went to, I had a judge, like, literally table side. And he was watching everything we was doing, every play. And then, I activate effect. I literally go through my effects. I'm like, well, I'm going to sage. Let's say I sage the white stone. I'm going to sage the white stone. Response. No response. You're good. Go through your play. I'm like, okay, I'll go through my play. So then I go through every single combo I'm doing. And then if he says, wait, I have a response, I'll sit and I'll wait. I'll be like, alright, what are you doing? It's like, I'm going to target this, pop True Light, pop all your monsters on the field. Okay, yeah, that's good. Take them all, put them in the graveyard. Done. Alright, end turn. See what I'm saying? Like, it's not that big a deal. Like, you have to know how to take the good with the bad. How do you handle players that are cheating, backseat dueling, or just they got negative attitudes and they're not very nice? Literally, try to handle it the best way you can. Getting mad is not going to solve anything. I'm going to tell you this right now. You can get pissed, you can get angry, you can do like I do. No, I don't really get pissed. I get irritated, but I don't get pissed. I get a little aggravated, the whole deal. But I don't get pissed. I don't look at him and be like, you know what? Why don't you just go the fuck home? Like, I don't say that to people because, this game needs players. And the only way to get players is to try to give them an invite, open invite into the world of Yu-Gi-Oh! Through mine, yours, and everybody else's eyes. To kind of like shed them a little bit of light, being like, here's what you can do, here's what you can't do. Kind of try to guide them. They're probably cheating because sometimes they may not know they're cheating. Accidents happen in this game. And that's a big thing. Like what I want to talk about today is accidents happen. I understand it. Trust me. That's why when he dropped the first one, I was like, maybe it was an accident. Maybe he didn't notice. I did, but I was like, just let it go. It's one thing. It ain't gonna bother anything. let it go. It's not a big deal. Now the second time, I was like, wait a minute, you done that the first game. And literally, I was right. You know, I had watched him the whole time. I watched everything he was doing. You know, that one thing, I was like, I need to keep that off the field because that's going to cause me problems. Which is why I jumped into Dragonic Future so I could completely cancel that out. I was like, I don't want to deal with that fusion monster. I'm good. Get into Dragonic, and I can wait on him, and I can negate right away. And then he added that back to hand. I was like, wait a minute, no. Did you pull that? He just says, oh yeah, I did. And then the judge starts going through his graveyard and says, no, you didn't. You added that back to hand. And I was like, that's what I thought. And then he automatically just disqualified him right away, instantly. Didn't even like give him a chance. I'm telling you, they will not do that. They will, if you cheat, they will not give you a chance. But see, that's the thing. I didn't go at it like, oh, you cheated. You can't do that. No, don't do that. Just try to go at it like a laid back sense. There's a laid back sense that you got to go about it, but like, no, you didn't add that to hand. You know, you can do that. You don't have to cuss out your opponent. I've never cussed out an opponent in my year and a half of playing regional YCS Yu-Gi-Oh. I've never cussed out an opponent. I ain't done any of that. I've not done that. Not once. I just find it to be very unnecessary. If you have to go to that length, I want to know like how you got there. Because yeah, you and your opponent could be in an altercation, and you know, you could be discussing a ruling or discussing cheating. You know, whatever. They cheat. Okay, I get it. No one likes to be cheated. It's all fine and dandy. Okay. At the end of the day, it's not a big deal. Like, it's not a big enough deal that you have to really worry about it. Like me, I really don't care. Like, you cheat once, fine, you can have it. You cheat the second time, I'm calling you out. And I'm not gonna cuss you up and down. In fact, I try not to cuss when I'm playing cards because I play people of all ages. You know, these aren't just like, you know, these aren't like people like me. There's a lot of them that are like me, where they're 25 years old and they play this card game. There are people that I play with that don't even speak the same language. I couldn't even understand what they were saying. I had to have a translator because no idea what they were saying at YCS. You know, play a lot of different people over the years, and you're like, man, it's inappropriate to speak like that. It really is, especially if you play at like a local card shop, or if, you know, let's say you go to PPG and they record it and you're talking like that. No, they don't want nothing to do with you. You know, they don't. There's no place for it. In Yu-Gi-Oh. Now you say, well, you cuss in your videos. Yeah, I do, because they're my videos. You know, I keep my language down to a minimum. I cuss here and there where I think, you know, I get irritated, and I'm just like, well, you shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that, shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that. But everything else, you know, you should be, you know, P's and Q's. And that's why I don't like cheating. No matter how bad your opponent is cheating, you should never go to the lengths to cuss them up and down. If you do, apologize immediately, because you don't want to be kicked out of the card shop you're playing in. I'm sure you don't, because you're there to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic, Digimon, whatever you're playing. I'm sure it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Since most people tune in my videos for Yu-Gi-Oh! Content. But, you know, like me, I play other card games as well. I'm trying to get into Magic. I'm playing Digimon. Sometimes I play Dragon Ball Super. You know, I play other card games, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Is my bread and butter. I know Yu-Gi-Oh! The best. I understand the rulings the best. I understand the card effects the best. I know how to negate spells, traps. I know what decks to put together in order for me to go into a tournament and have a positive win percentage. and always have a positive win percentage. My win percentages in regionals and YCS is 72%, which is very good. It's very hard to do. But again, like I said, I'm very, very young when it comes to that because I'm 25 years old. I'll be 26 next year in October. I have only had a year and a half in actual professional Yu-Gi-Oh! So when people see me down at the card shop, they get excited because they're like, oh, this is the pro player. We like playing against him. Of course you do, because I'm really good. I have really good decks. You know, you're not going to come in with any mediocre deck and be like, well, I'm going to beat this guy. I'm going to beat him today. It's not going to happen because I've got everything. I've got every arsenal ready to go. But, like I said, you know, it's very hard to do things, especially when I have these certain cards that are just ready to go. They're ready to pop off. They're ready to do this. They're ready to do that. Very hard. But, you know, as playing goes, you want to be very respectful. You want to be respectful of your surroundings and everyone around you. And I want to get into talking about, because I played with them before. Don't get me wrong. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion on this, but playing players of the LGBTQ community, or whatever they prefer to be called, how is it playing against them? It doesn't really bother me. I don't care what you do in your spare time. Gotta be honest. I am here to play a Yu-Gi-Oh game. You are here to play a Yu-Gi-Oh game. If you want to play a duel, good duel. Nothing else to it. Fine. I don't care. Do you want to chat a little bit? You want to talk? Fine. I don't care. But my latest, like, I think one of my commenters actually sent this to me. I don't remember if it was on Instagram or if it popped up as like a message on my YouTube. I don't remember where it came from or my email. I don't remember which way it came from. They asked me about LGBTQ and what it's like playing them, and do you respect them? And I was like, yeah. You gotta show respect to them. I mean, they're human beings. Like they shouldn't be like. You shouldn't look at them. You shouldn't judge somebody for how they are, their race, their ethnicity, their religion. None of that. It doesn't matter. You're here to play a Yu-Gi-Oh card game. You know, like I said, I played people that don't even speak the same language. And I was very respectful to them. And, you know, I've had people shake my hand and the translator translate what they said to me. They said, good game. This was fun. And I was like, you're welcome. And then he translated it back. And then I said, it was fun playing you. You know, like, Yu-Gi-Oh is a game where everyone of different race, culture, ethnicity, sexualities, whatever it is, they can all play. It doesn't matter what you are. This is the diverse game. That's the beauty behind Yu-Gi-Oh! Is it's not like, well, you have to believe this, you have to be a certain ethnicity, you have to be from a certain culture, you have to have this, that. No, you could be anything. That's what makes it fun. And what makes it more fun is when you play people like you have an entire diverse group of just random people, and they all have really good decks. That's what makes it really good. Or if, you know, you have somebody that's like, man, my deck ain't popping off. Can you help me with it? Sure, sit down. Let's look at it. Let's see what your deck is, what's going on with it. I can almost sit down and be like, well, I'll have to do a little bit of research. I said, but I think I can make this pop off in different ways. I said, but depends. What are you trying to go for? And most of the time they're like, well, you're really good at making bad decks good. And like I always tell them, there is no bad deck. Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't have any bad decks. They're all good. You just have to know what to run with them and what needs to be in it and what doesn't. You have to know the cards you're looking for those specific decks. Again, there's over 10,000 cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! They all collide somehow, and they're all really good. And with the new metas, new support coming out, it's going to help it make it even better. But normally what I do is I tell them, you know, what do you want? And they're like, well, I want to pop off like yours. So I said, you want to be a special summoning machine? And she's like, they're normally like, yeah, I'd like it like that. But, you know, I feel like my extra deck lacks, and they lay it down, and they have like 10 extra deck cards that the cards that they run in that deck, the chances of them getting into those extra deck cards is like 1 in 40 or 1 in 20. And I'm like, well, you're trying to get into this? Yeah, this sets up my plays for these machines to go off. And I'm like, well, why don't we run more cards specific to these archetypes, or we change what we're running. Since we're going to be running more of ancient gears, we change the extra deck and the few cards in the main deck, which is normally about 20, to fit the ancient gear archetype, because ancient gears does pop off. It's a special summoning machine if you can go interrupter with it. There's other cards that can go into it which make it even better, and you know, with that being said, the extra deck that surrounds these cards are insane. But you know, I comprise decks, put them together, and then, you know, I'm like, I might show up once a week and be like, here's a card. Do you want anything for it? No, I don't want anything for it. It's yours. I'm helping you build your deck. You know, I want to help people. That's what I do. Like I told you, that kid that plays Drytrons down at the card shop with me, I gave him most of those Drytron cards because I was like, man, your deck really ain't popping off. I think you need something a little more meta, a little bit better. So then I give him those cards, and I'm like, here, try these, see how they work. You know, we'll move on about our day. And with those cards, you know, they're very good. I'm not gonna lie, they're very good. And I try to make sure that every player that plays with me leaves there with a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of, you know, respect for me and for them. Because I'm gonna go ahead and lighten up the ending of this video with a little bit of story about me and the guy that sat down, the last guy I played yesterday. Okay, so I sat down and he seen my mat. It's my blue eyes shiny mat. It's the one I went to regionals and won. And I sat down and I laid that mat down, and he's like, man, that's probably one of the coolest mats I've ever seen. I said, thank you. And I grabbed my deck, split it out, grabbed my extra deck, laid it down, and I laid down my deck, and he seen blue eyes in the middle, and he's like, dude, I ain't seen anybody run blue eyes in forever. He said, it's been a while since I've seen a good blue eyes deck. And I said, it's a good one. Now, no, this guy did 2-0 me. But after I lost, I mean, there were some good plays that he pulled off in order to beat that deck. Again, the first game I misplayed, which was my inevitable doing. But me and him, he was excited to play me because he's like, dude, you're the man. We've heard how good you are. And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty good. Like no doubt. So, like I said, I've got table presence as soon as I sat down, and he did too. And as soon as we sat down, our table presence was known. We both knew that we were both hot. And what I mean by hot is we both had decks that were going to shoot straight at each other. They were not going to try to, you know, jump around. They were going to go out and all account assault. Because that's what they did. Because he was power bonded and everything else like that. And I'm like, man, I don't have the cards to stop power bond right now. I don't have piercing the darkness in my hand. I don't have true light. I don't have anything else except for 2 alternatives: a Dragon Spirit of White, a Maiden, and the Mausolean. So it's really hard for me to do anything right now. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it was very hard for me to get anything off. I'm like, man, this is gonna be difficult, and it was. So, you know, with this being said, me and him, we was going at it. We was having fun. And then once I lost, I shook his hand. I was like, that was a good deck. I like that. And I'm actually going to try to get to him. So if you guys are interested in that Cyber Dragon deck, I am going to try to put it on EDO and show you guys. I do know he does run Forbidden Droplet, and he had a few of them too. He is a owner of a card shop, or a card store. I don't know if it's a shop or store, but it's basically like, I think it's in like a flea market near where I live. And if you guys are nearby, I would say go down and stop and check him out. I think he's located in Russell, Kentucky, but I think there's a little flea market down there. And if you ever come by there, or let's say you are in the area, definitely check him out. I'll double check with him, make sure. I know he said he's got some Blue Eyes cards that I asked for that he still got. So I'm really curious to see what he has, because I was supposed to get those cards for helping that kid with Drytron. I didn't ask for them. Didn't say that I had to have them. I said these are the cards I'm looking for. And the guy that his dad that I gave the cards to, he went ahead and told them, like, hey, this guy's looking for these cards. Can you get these cards for him? And, you know, he helped me do that, which, you know, I'm very grateful for. I like helping people, but I don't ask for anything in return. And if I do get it, I'm very grateful to get it, because, you know, that's just the way you give. That's how I am as a human being. Like, I like to help out other people. I'd rather see some 12-year-old kid smile and have fun rather than me have fun. Like, that's just how I am. Especially this time of year, it's a time of giving. It's a time of, you know, being thankful for what you have and who you have around you. So for me, like, it means a lot more when I give somebody something and I help somebody build their deck, and like, oh, I like this. This works. Thank you. That means more to me than a damn win in Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, it means so much more. So me and him, we start going over, you know, our decks, whatever, and he shows me his main Cyber Dragon combo. And then I was like, where have you seen Drytron? And he said, yeah, I've seen Drytron before. And I grabbed mine out and I laid it on the table. And he looks at Dragonic Future, because I always keep my extra deck cards on top in a specific order. And he said, I ain't never seen that one before. And I said, yeah. I said, Dragonic Future is a card that won me a lot of games with YCS. He said, really? I said, yeah. I said, this card helps me, you know, do everything. And he's like, wow, that's amazing. And then I showed him my combo where I got Dragnus on in the first turn, I got Quertus out in the first turn, and I had a Nightmare Phoenix on the field with 2 cards in hand, so I could flip 2 potentially back, which is what I have to do, because, you know, I need to try to protect anything on the field. Like, even if you activate an effect, Nightmare he's still going to be able to kick in. So it's big there. But yeah, he was very, very, very polite, very nice. He's a good guy. I'll play him again. I hope next week I get to play him again, because he was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun, because, man, it was crazy. Like, we was hitting left and right. And then after that, when I tried to face Blue Eyes against the Skull Servants, I was like, man, this deck's crazy. And then I started going over the support with him for Blue Eyes, and he's the one that told me. He's like, have you seen the new spellcaster for Blue Eyes? And I was like, what spellcaster? Blue Eyes ain't getting another spellcaster. He said, yeah, they are. So actually, I'm going to go ahead and pull that up while I'm here with you guys. I have to do a news segment tomorrow. I won't get to it today, and I won't get to any YGO Pro videos today, but I do have it downloaded, it looks like. So hopefully I can get into that today. So new Blue Eyes Spellcaster. I'm gonna see if I can pull up the name of it, cause he's the one that told me about it. And he's like, dude, he said this card's really good. And I was like, really? He said, yeah. He said if you ain't got to really look at it yet, he said it's very good. I'm gonna see if I actually have it on here. It's not there. Because I do have a new spellcaster. I'm just trying to think of what it's called. No, that ain't it. That's close though. Let me try to see if I can look at the Battle of Chaos. Maybe it's on there. I hope so. Card list. Because I don't remember what that card is called exactly. Set card list. But it's very good. And I'll actually read you guys off the effect. Yeah, freaking Magic Rebo. Good on that. This might take me a minute to rifle through. But I will recognize the name, and then I'll look up the effect of the monster. Because it's gonna be very good. I think it's in Battle Chaos. Sword Soul Sati, yeah. Maybe it's not. Huh. Man, what was that card called? Hang on. Trying to remember what it is called. Is that it? If so, I need to know what. Let's see. There it is. Ooh. Do we know what set this is coming out in? So here, pull this up. Japanese pack, Legendary Monsters pack. Let's see, OCG cards that listed. So it's actually called the Mystical Elf Burst Stream. Mystical Burst Stream. No joke. That's literally the name of this card. If you don't believe me, look it up. I don't know when it comes out. TCG released that. How about that? Let's see here. Not released official. Let's see, it's an official card game, but it's definitely gonna be a thing. Let's see. OCG released in 2021. TCG initial release not released. Basically, if we get this card, which I hope we do, I don't know if it'll come out or what set it comes out in. But it says when a monster your opponent controls activate its effect while you control a level 5 or higher normal monster. Quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do negate that effect, during your opponent's battle phase quick effect, you can target one normal monster in either graveyard, special summon it, and if you do, while you control it, all monster your opponent controls must attack it this turn, if able. You can activate this once per turn. Again, that is a very good card. I would definitely run that in the 2 package, definitely. Even with the new stuff. But it seems to be running unlimited. But I'm trying to see if I can get a release date. because there's an OCG Legendary Monsters pack, which has that, a Kaiser Glider, and I think this is the this is the level. You can discard one at level 7. I'm not sure. That's Gilta, the Magical Knight. Gonna assume that has to do with Gaia. But yeah, they have that. I don't know when this comes out. Let me see if I can find something on the Legendary Monsters pack. Legendary Monsters pack. Yeah. Let's see. So it's got all 3 of Seto, Yugi, and Joey on it. It says each legendary monster pack contains 1 prismatic rare and 2 ultra rares. See OCG that could be pre-ordered on VJump website from May 21st to June 2021. The issue of the VJump magazine. The first 50,000 packs were delivered within a week. Okay. And it had that card in there. So I'm and it was the prismatic rare. So it looked like you automatically get guaranteed with these 3 cards. So again, that's big. TCG. Kind of curious if we're actually gonna, be able to get something like this. Now, let me ask. Like, is mystical? Sorry about this, guys. I'm just really curious on this card. Coming to TCG. Because this would be a very good card to have. Very good. Okay, I understand the cards. Let's commemorate the 25th edition. That's great, but like I kind of want the card. Because it literally has Mystical Elf on the front of it. In fact, I'll pull it up for you. Hang on. Let's hit this. Should let me zoom myself out for a minute. Boop. There you go. Like, you see what I'm talking about? Like, very good. So, like, that's it right there. Sit down just there. Like, it's real. When he told me that, he's like, yeah, they're getting a spellcaster. And I was like, spellcaster? What the hell are you talking about? Yeah, so literally, this card is out in the TCG. Or the OCG. Sorry, not TCG. I kind of want to know if this card's going to get released. Because I'd like to have it. Because it's very good. Because literally, all you have to do is activate an effect while I control Blue Eyes. Special summon this card. As long as I control, well, I think, let's see here. Yeah, as long as I special summon this card, I can negate that effect. And then if I get that card on, then the quick effect on my opponent's battle phase, I can special summon 1 Blue Eyes monster, and then you'd have to swing into that card, which is very, very good. Which is hard to do. So, like I said, pretty good. I hope we get this card. We might not. Not really interested in the Kaiser Glider, to be honest, but I'm very interested in this card in particular because it is a Blue Eyes archetype card. But this is basically all the time I have for today. I'm sorry I went on a little bit of a rant because I literally I like to try and keep myself honest and my open opinion on things, and how I go through my day and everything like this, and I explain how cards work, how you should try to compose yourself while you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh, and everything you do with it. The card game is fun, don't get me wrong, but there are some things in the card game that need corrected, and they really need somebody there to teach people how to play the card game as well. But this is all the time I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm piercenation, and I will see you in the next video. piercenation out.